Hello, my name is Lindsay May, and I am going to be doing an informative speech on Pitbull bans, or BSLs, also known as breed-specific legislatives. Most of these things are put into play in our communities and our parks and a lot of places that we go to curb dog bites. They blame a specific breed for fatalities and casualties that may happen. I'm going to talk a little bit about the current policy that's in play, the BSL, the Breed Specific Legislative. I'm going to talk about ways that we as a community, we as dog owners, can prevent dog bites from happening, because at the end of the day, a dog biting somebody, it falls on us. It does fall on us as dog owners as to why that happened, how it could have been prevented, and what we can do to do so. I'm then going to talk about how we can form groups and make better policies that are justifiable, policies that protect our dogs, policies that protect us. I think something that we could all agree on is no dog is born aggressive. The Chihuahua is not born aggressive, a Rottweiler is not born aggressive. It just isn't like that. It all falls on the owner and how it was raised, and the rules it followed, and how strict the parents were as a pup, and did they hit them, and whatever else, right? Did you know that 4.5 million people a year get bit by a dog? That is crazy. 4.5 million people. That is 36 seconds. Every 36 seconds a person is getting bit. So let's think. Right now someone just got bit. Right now someone else probably just got bit. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy to think about, right? So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start off with the current policy in play to curb those bites, which is the BSL, the Breed Specific Legislative. I'm going to talk about how this policy just doesn't work. It 120% does not work to stop people from getting bit. It does not protect communities. An example, I'm going to use a couple examples in place where towns and counties already put these enactments, these policies in place, and how it didn't work. First example, Prince George, Maryland. Okay, in 1996, prior to the enactment, they had 853 dog bites that year. Prince George County is kind of a big county. It has about 1 million people there. So when you think about it, not even 1,000 people got bit that year. Over 1 million people live there. That's not that big of a number, right? 108 of those bites were from pit bulls. Again, my math people do the math there. I think that's maybe 20%, 15%, something like that. I'm not a math person, I'm a math guy. So, calculator, take it out, figure it out. It's not that big of a number. When they decided to put the enactment in and ban a specific breed, ban pit bulls, ban bullies, it dropped by 35%. That's not a big number. That is not something that is drastic. That doesn't protect anybody. It just doesn't work with that statistic that shows that. You ban a certain breed and still 60% of bites are happening. 70% of bites are still happening. Another example, in 1990, Winnipeg, Canada decided to put a BSL in play. They decided to ban pit bulls from communities to try to stop bites from happening. Dog fights, whatever else. When they did this, pit bull bites dropped. Yeah. Rottweiler bites skyrocketed. So with that statistic, it shows easily that dog bites happen because of the people. You can ban any breed, but a bad owner is still gonna find a dog and is still gonna do what they want to do. It's either gonna be with one breed or the other. The big thing we need to do is we need to take responsibility and blame the people. It's not the dog's fault that something happened. The statistics why things like this get put into play make sense, but when you look at the bigger picture, they really don't. Because the things are being miscued, the numbers are being lied about. It makes sense to an extent, right? The fatalities caused by dog bites are a big part of why these policies get put into place. And I get it. You know, if 40 people die, 60% of those fatalities are caused by pit bulls, which is a crazy number, right? However, let's also realize, unfortunately, that half of the death toll are children. And while that is a horrible statistic, kids are kids, no matter what age and no matter what dog. If a child gets bit, they're going to need medical attention. The likelihood of them passing away and getting severely hurt is much higher than if you or I were to get bit, because we're bigger. Our bodies are not as fragile. It is what it is, right? And children are also half of the 4 million bites a year. They are half of the deaths and they're half of the bites. Now, with BSLs enacted, it would go to show 60% of them are caused. 60% of deaths are caused by pit bulls. That's horrible. But if 60% are caused by pit bulls, half of the bites and half of the deaths are caused by children. If this breed was as aggressive as this statistic is making out to be, wouldn't there be more deaths? Because if these dogs are biting this many people and biting this many children, there should be more deaths. And that just goes with what that statistic says and shows, truly. The policies that are put in place and bans that follow make sense, understandable, right? When you can throw numbers out like 60% or 70% and blame a specific breed, I can understand why you say, no, I will not let a certain dog in my community, in my apartment complex, in my park. I understand why you would say that, because you can throw out big numbers and make them seem accurate. However, most casualties, most fatalities are not caused, and they do not happen in the community. 80% of dog bites, 80% of dog fatalities, casualties, anything related to that situation happens in our homes. In your home, in my home, in the neighbor's home. It does not happen while you're out walking the dog, or you're bringing the kids down to the school bus, or you're getting your mail. That's not when it happens. It happens in our houses. So how are BSLs protecting the community? How are they stopping dog bites? They're not. They're not at all, because most places do already have these enacted, and we're still getting 4.5 million people bit a year. So, how does that make sense, right? Not only do they not work, but they're morally wrong. They are not okay. They are unfair to dogs, to our pets, to our family. Breed-specific legislatives can make a huge impact and a huge restrictions on people's and pets' lives. They can, for absolutely no reason whatsoever, require that your dog wears a muzzle, that they get neutered. They can even require the fact that you need to wear a vicious dog vest on your pet, or on a tag on their collar, or you might even need to put a vicious dog sign at your house in your lawn so you can warn people. Your dog may have never bit anybody, harmed anybody, growled at anybody, or done anything, but because this pup fits a physical characteristic, BSLs can require these things, which is crazy. That is morally wrong. It would be like looking at a person and being like, you look like the type to kill somebody, I'm going to need you to wear something that says that you're like that. It's wrong. You can't do that. So why can we do it to our dogs? Right? Not very surprisingly, not a single big organization supports BSLs. If that doesn't show that they're morally wrong when not a single big organization supports it, I don't know what will. You know, you can get pet insurance on your pet, no matter the pet, because Geico, Progressive, all of those places have come out and said that they do not agree with BSLs. Canine corporations, dog training corporations, your police station, have come out to say that they do not support BSLs. They do not support breed-specific legislatives that ban certain breeds. The policies that are in place currently that dictate the freedom of our pups, of other breeds, is no fault, it's to all fault of our own. We as dog owners are uneducated for too long regarding our pets. Prevention could have stopped all of this, prevented it all from happening, The ability to train our dogs and the willingness to do so is a huge part of dog bites. Most of our dogs may not be trained. I know a lot of people that have trouble training their dogs. They're lazy. They don't have the ambition to do so. They don't have the willingness to do so. They don't think they can. And I understand that. However, it's not hard, and no matter the breed, the age, no matter what, all of our dogs should be trained for the well-being of itself, for the well-being of us, for the well-being of our neighbors and our community. Keeping our dogs trained keeps them safe. Some dogs are bred to do specific tasks. Some are super anxious. If you just take the time out to train these pups and to just keep them mentally stimulated, it can stop this. Your dog may get too excited and bite somebody. Your dog may be anxious or nervous and bite somebody. It's easy, it's accessible. You may not think that it's easy or accessible, but it is. It is. Jump on YouTube, type up how to train my dog for dummies, okay? And you will find something, I promise you. My boyfriend has trained dogs his entire life. He was a professional gun dog trainer for 7 years. I've watched, I've learned, I've seen people swear that they cannot do it, and then they're doing it. I have myself trained a little pug, and I have trained a giant Great Dane that I thought was literally going to eat me because it wanted to. I swear to God, it wanted to eat me. And next thing you know, it's healing, it's sitting, it's listening to everything I'm saying. It's not as hard as people make it out to be, and keeping our dogs trained is the biggest part of keeping them safe. Home life. Home life is huge in preventing things because we need to take into account and prevent anything that happens in our home. 80% of dog bites happen in our home, right? When children, less than 5 years, mostly less than 3, are at least half the cause of dog bites, we need to keep eyes on our kids. We need to make sure that they're safe. The last thing you want to happen is for our family pet that we've had for 6 years to harm our child, right? And I get it. If you're doing dishes and you're just not paying attention to the kid and then your kid gets bit. Who do we blame? We can't blame the dog because we weren't even paying attention in the first place. We don't know what that kid was doing. Was that kid hitting it, poking it in the eyeballs? How long was the kid doing that? Was the dog growling? Was the dog warning the child? Most dogs and most animals discipline their pups, discipline their children, their puppies, or their kittens when they're doing something wrong. Maybe they were doing the same thing to this child. However, they hurt them. We just need to keep our eyes on them, and that is a big part too in curbing dog bites because they're half of the fatalities. The most important part is just knowing your dog in general. Does your dog have anxious tendencies? Are they nervous a lot? Do they not like men? Do they not like children? Do they not like cats? Are they scared of thunder? Things like that. If we can prevent our dog from being in a situation that would make them anxious, feel unsafe, and not know how to act, then we could prevent these things. We are our dog's voice, and we represent our dog as best we can because they cannot. If they feel safe with us, they will not bite anybody because they know that we will take care of the situation. If they feel nervous, they will look to us to make sure that they are okay and they're safe because we are their owners and we will keep them safe. It just is what it is. Another way of avoiding dog bites is just staying out of risky situations. A big thing is approaching dogs that are by themselves. I love dogs. I want to approach any dog that I possibly see. Any pup. Can I pet it? Oh, no. Okay. or, you know, whatever. I will rescue a stray. I will do these things. I put myself in situations that I probably should not do because I will get bit. But a big thing is just not approaching dogs by themselves, whether it be in a park, whether it be walking down the street, whether it be behind a fence in their yard. We do not know how that dog is going to react, and they very well could bite us, you know, and it's no fault of the dog. It is our own fault putting ourselves in a situation that we may not have been into had we not done what we did. Avoiding the clear signs that a dog is unhappy will also get you bit. You know, if a dog is growling, if a dog is barking, if a dog is seeking alone time, these are all signs that you may or may not get bit. You may not approach it. You might need to seek medical attention if your dog is seeking alone time. They might be ill, they might be not feeling good, they might be hurt, but put caution into it. Your family dog can bite you for no reason at all. If your dog starts acting out, talk to the vet, because they may not be feeling good and they don't understand why. They're not going to want your attention. Do not blame your dog. Just seek medical attention and just stop putting ourselves in risky situations. Dog bites usually are not the fault of our pups, I swear. Now, while we as owners can prevent a lot of the unpredictable things that happen, we as pet owners should also be educated on other ways we can make better policies and how to do so. There are no other BSLs enacted that are fair. There really truly are not. A lot of people have gathered, they've talked to their public officials, they've gathered in groups, they've spoken in meetings to try to change these things. There are no other policies. It's just breed-specific legislatives, and that is currently the only way that people are trying to stop dog bites, which is insane to me, absolutely mind-boggling. Multidisciplinary and multi-professional groups are a big part in achieving new policies and growing as a community, right? Forming a group doesn't happen immediately. There's absolutely no way that it's going to work like that. It never does. You know, getting one group to agree with one group and joining it, just the ties don't always align the way that they could. You know, you need to make sure there's also not similar organizations already happening. Developing an advisory group is definitely something that you would also be inclined to do if you plan on making a group or an organization. An advisory group would help everything. They would organize the meetings, they would organize surveys, they would show up for the public, they would talk to the officials and make sure everything's going well and make sure that we're not going to get in trouble for posting this or talking about this or whatever it may be. Identification and regulation of dangerous dogs need to be determined on a regular and fair basis. This is a policy that needs to change. Some groups, some organizations are in the works of doing this already. Some places already have it passed, right? Due to what breed-specific legislatives currently involved, it poses a threat, believe it or not, to the 14th Amendment of due process and equal protection. It is a constitutional question as to whether or not this is fair and whether or not breed-specific legislatives should even be in play. Stereotyping one breed over any other breed that could all deal the same damage is discriminatory. And people are stepping up about this. Organizations, multidisciplinary, public organizations are doing this. To determine if a dog is dangerous, it deserves careful evaluation, and a public health threat needs to be determined. Without this, you cannot determine anything. You cannot look at a breed and decide that that breed is dangerous just because of a public characteristic, a physical characteristic. You cannot do that. Some municipals even go to the extent of a hearing with a jury. That is a fair thing to do. We do it for our people. Why would we not do it for our pets? Our pets are our family. Are they not? There's a comparison to how BSL restrictions go with other legislatives. The comparison is astronomically different. So BSLs can require you to muzzle your dog and do all these other things, right? With other legislatives that require you to go to a hearing panel or talk to a judge or a justice or do whatever, determines if a dog is dangerous. The judge does it, they discuss, They hear all the situations that happened. If at the end of that hearing they decide, ma'am, sir, your dog is dangerous and may be a health threat, then at that point in time, do they make the decision to put restrictions on that pup. And it's not crazy. Some of them require training of owner and dog. Some of them require public identification of your dog. And some of them, maybe you'll have to get neutered. Those 3 things are nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to what BSLs require from our pups. The only way to achieve other policies is to repeal breed-specific organizations and policies. That is the only way. To combat BSLs, we need to get new policies to be present, and we have to know our officials. We have to know the things that are being passed. We have to stay on top of it. We have to put policies that are justifiable in. To do that, we have to be there. You know, we have to know what's going on, and we have to know the laws that are being passed and the things that we may need to vote on. We just need to know that. There are many states already where BSLs are enacted. However, there are states that are questioning it. See if your state is, see if Kentucky is, see if Connecticut is, so wherever you may be located, or your cousins or your aunts may be located, see if they're doing it and get them out there and do something about it, right? 13 states do not allow BSLs. They will not allow any town, county, or place to enact a BSL. They will not let you do so. Well, they know. They know that it doesn't work, right? So, with all that being said, I think there's definitely an understanding now of how the policies that surround our breeds, our pups, do not work. They do not curb dog bites. They do not keep our community safe. There are other policies that can be in place to do so. We as pet owners, we as dog owners, there are ways that we can prevent dog bites and curb dog bites. We need to take this seriously as a community. Otherwise, it's not going to get any better. After everything I've said, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to my speech. And everybody be safe. Remember, dog bites literally occur every 37 seconds. So it could be you. Stay safe out there, guys.